Hey, Eric Scofield, class of 1983, South Salem Saxons. It's good to be back.
Hey everybody, Ryan here. Before we get to our conversation with Eric Scofield, class of 1983, just a quick admission of guilt on my end. I pushed the wrong button when we were recording, and the audio was pulling from a different microphone in my office, as opposed to the ones that we were wearing. And so you'll hear the audio variation. It kind of sounds like whenever I'm asking questions, I'm underwater. That's because um, the importance of Eric's message was so much so that I wanted you to hear everything, and I did my best to eliminate as many of my fluff words as possible, so you can maintain what you hear from Eric, which his sounds a lot more crisp. So I apologize for that. Bear with it as you listen to this incredible conversation with graduate Eric Scofield, the class of 1983.
Today's conversation with you is brought to us in part through the ongoing support of 2008 graduate Matt Cox and his company Saucetown Properties. If you or anyone you know have a house you want to sell but don't feel like dealing with the hassle of doing repairs or hiring a realtor, go to saucetownproperties.net to get a fair cash offer today. And today we are joined, as we heard, by 1983 Saxon graduate Eric Scofield. Stroh's years at South were full of memories of getting the school year going with fall sports, homecoming, school dances, spirit weeks. We were hearing off camera about a lot of other memories. Some we can share, some maybe not. But Sco played basketball. He nearly won a state title with the team, and he got the Saxon Gems rocking. His life was forever transformed through his involvement in Young Life, eventually leading to his 32-year career in the organization, including 10 years as the Chief Development Officer. Eric is married to the incredible Marty Peterson, now Marty Scofield, who was a Saxon grad of 1984, and they have two sons together. He now operates a consulting agency helping nonprofits raise funding. He's the Senior VP of Community Impact for Norwood Development Group in Colorado Springs. Finally, Eric just published a book, Built to Fly, and he's in town this week speaking at a fundraiser here in Salem. Sco, welcome to your time in the spotlight. So good to be with you.
Good to be with you. That was a lot. I'm exhausted.
You just traveled in today. How often do you make it to Salem?
My mom still lives here, turns 93 this month, lives at the Capitol Manor, still on her own, not driving, but still, cranking and banking. So I was actually just here 2 weeks ago, and now this, and, maybe 4 times a year.
Yeah. Well, take us back to when Salem was hometown. You remember about growing up in Salem and your years as a Saxon?
Well, especially for you Saxons, if anybody, you just can't believe Commercial Street has transformed. The game that I like to play with myself as I drive up Commercial now is, what was that? Because everything has transformed so many times. It's incredible. There used to be a Taco Bell, and now that's like a, with now rental. I mean, just things transform and change. But oh my gosh, I remember so much. I came in the front doors of South today, and I remember that it was during homecoming week. Each class was given a hallway. Seniors, of course, would get that front hallway, and then, everybody else would get a different hallway, and they would transform it. Maybe that still happens. I don't know. But I still remember coming into school on, October 3rd, and it would be transformed into something.
Yes.
And just South is a special place, and it's a special school. I can remember when I was a senior, we all got here at 6:30 in the morning, and we all parked sideways and took every single teacher spot. So, which actually, this is good. Okay. Class of 82 did terrible pranks. They're awful. Okay.
Yeah. Throw them under the bus.
Yeah. They painted the ceiling there, the roof of Leslie, took all the card catalogs out of the library. He did harmless, thoughtful things. Okay.
Yeah.
Like taking the teacher spots and then having breakfast on the lawn when they got here. It's like, where's my spot? So this is good. Those are just a couple fast things.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're student taught here as well. I'm curious, you having both the lens of a student and teacher, what is it? You said South is a special place.
The fact that this school's been here since 1953, it's right in the heart of South Salem. The outside of the building has not changed. Yeah, the insides changed, things have moved around. But the teachers that taught here, again, I'm sure it's exactly the same for the current students that are here, but like they were here. They don't want to go anywhere else. So when you rolled in as a freshman, you would hear gosh, you got to have Mr. Ball, or you got to make sure you get chemistry with, Mr. Olson, or trigonometry with Mr. Mossman, which I didn't take that class, by the way. But, there'd be these legends, or, I mean, of course, I remember coming as a fourth grader, fifth grader, sixth grader to basketball games. The gym would be sold out, and bleachers and bleachers. And so then when it was your moment to be on that team, you were pretty much wearing the same uniforms as they did 4 years before. You're like, wow, I'm a part of that legacy. I'm a part of that. And the class of 2026 is just as much a part of the legacy of 2006 and 86 and all the way back. I mean, I think there is a legacy.
Yeah, there's a through line that exists here at South. You were involved in basketball. Anything else that extracurricular wise?
Yeah, I mean, I did track, I did tennis, I played football for about 5 days. I came out late, my helmet didn't fit. I was like, this is not my thing. But what I remember about the football season, and I was in the stands, but then I was a young life leader for 14 years at South.
Right.
So my South Salem era, 4 years of high school and then 14 years of young life leading, I was around the school for 18 years. And, those football stands and those games, and same with basketball and same with baseball and same with track and same for all that matter, same with the plays and the bands and the ensembles and choirs. I mean, so many awards, it was almost like Conference of Champions right here at South Salem, right?
Yep.
So I was the optimist of the year. Not really sure what that means, other than I think maybe I was positive. But I think the reason I got that award was because I wasn't involved freshman, sophomore year. And then I kind of turned a few things over in my life and became very involved and was on the senior committee. I think I put on the 20-year class reunion. But I mean, amazing people in our class for sure, not me included. We have the president of Willamette University in our class. We got doctors, we got smart people. But I think they were challenged by the teachers who were sold out and smart, and they wanted to be here.
It's powerful. Was there something that happened in the middle of those 4 years that you can point to as a turning point? Got you from being someone who was kind of on the sidelines to being someone who was involved and then would come back and teach and then be a leader?
I mean, a couple things. I mean, you have the outside of the school and you have the inside of the school. So the inside of the school is there's a couple teachers like John Turman or Alan Ball or Terry Robinson or Candy Shue or Mrs. Horn, who basically whispered in your ear, you can do this, you're better than that, you're smart, you're capable, I'll help you. So they were just always breathing that you can do more. And then on the outside of school, I got involved in Young Life, invited by a girl in my biology class while we were dissecting pigs. And she said, you want to come to Young Life? I was like, I don't even know what that is. But I think it was at Sherry Braxton's house and we went, anyway, I ended up going to camp, ended up committing my life to the Lord and really changed a lot of what I did, So those two things combined were like just gas on a fire. And so I went to Concordia in Portland for 2 years, played basketball, then transferred to Willamette and thought I was going to play basketball, but Barry Adams called me, didn't even know me. I mean, I didn't know him. I guess he knew who I was, but he called me and said, I'd love you to coach. So the chance to coach for 5 years with a legend was pretty special. And there was just lots of special people around South Salem. At least that was my take.
Yeah, it still exists to this day. And you were one of them, especially in that era of the 90s. So you graduate from high school, go through college, think you're going to be a teacher. Turns out you spend your entire career almost with Young Life. What's that turning point? And when do you start to see that as a career / a passionate vocation?
Yeah, it's funny. When I student taught, I remember specifically Mr. Ball taught me his system. It was, it was a manila folder, to put everything. If you're going over Dante's Inferno, everything would be in the folder, the quizzes, the tests, the notes for day 1, day 2, day 3. They're going to teach it for 7 days or whatever it was. And it's so interesting. I still use to this day, if I went, this system that he taught me, right? I was going to be a teacher. I graduated from Willamette. I student taught here. I was a finalist for 4 jobs. I didn't want to go just anywhere. I was a little picky. I wanted to coach basketball and I wanted to be an English teacher. I was a finalist for 4 jobs, but I didn't get any of them. And at that same time, Dan Johnson, who was the principal here, said, I got another idea. Anyway, long story short, I went into ministry. I remember saying, you pay me the same as a first-year teacher. I mean, what the heck? It'll be a pause, but I won't lose anything. Well, pause was 32 years. And, and again, never thought I'd leave Salem. And I left Salem in 1998 and haven't been back other than as a guest, right? So I just think you make decisions, in these years that will shape you.
Yeah, and I think about that term, the legacy, and I think about the people that shaped you, the people that shaped me. I mean, my path crossed with you initially in the early 90s. And so you talk about that legacy and you talk about impact. When did you start seeing impact and legacy as something that was important and valuable to you of the world?
So you're talking about pouring into other people?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it certainly started when my first 2 years of being a young life leader at South. I don't think I quite got it. And kids would graduate and I was like, there was something not quite right. Now, part of it had to just do with spiritually. Maybe I wasn't praying for them, whatever, but part of it was simply this. I remember my mentor said to me, what do you want them to walk away with when they graduate? And that really clicked for me, changed things for me. And so that class of 92, Chris Herb, Jamie Hansen, Jason Davis, Brian Armstrong, Matt McKillop, I'm leaving people out. There was a lot of them. Joe Miller, huge class. They really took it on. We had 80 kids coming to just guy campaigners because they were all leaders as high school students. So they really caught that vision that I used to tell them, you're in the school 6 hours a day. I'm in the school for a lunch. You have people every period in front of you, front, right, left, and back. You can know their name. You can encourage them. You can say, I missed you yesterday. Do you need the notes? I'm there for 20 minutes. So when you're in high school and you catch a vision for people around you, you can make a huge difference. Just loving, at Center Hall for me, there was a girl in my class named Sonia with a J. She had walkers. I don't know if she's still alive. If you are, reach out to me. I'd love to say hi. But her walker hit some water one day coming down Center Hall, and she fell all the way down those stairs. And her book bag and papers, and she was in tears. And everyone, it was 1,700 kids in school, are stepping over her. I got to get to class. And I just felt like God tapped me on the shoulder and said, not you. I went back, I got her walker, I got her papers. I helped her up. We never talked before that day. And that was a game changer. We were friends from that day forward. But I just think there's some people, maybe you who are listening today, that you're like, no, you're supposed to be a world changer with encouragement, help, open your eyes, ask people their names, initiate. To have a friend, you have to be a friend. These are the things that make a difference.
What powerful messages too, especially as our students are absorbing this content, they are going to hear your messages. And I think that it's such an uncommon just mentality, approach to life these days, and that you can have such a huge impact just by bending over and helping somebody up, just by offering that friendship, just by being an encourager, having some compassion.
That's right.
And it's a lost message in a world that is chasing something. Oftentimes we've got students who just don't know what the purpose is for what they're chasing.
I get it. I mean, I was on an airplane this morning. You put in your earbuds and whatever they're called, phones, I don't know, and you become isolated. And we live in an isolated world. But what I know about Gen Z, which is the kids that are in this school right now, is that they're going to communicate the message, I don't want to be isolated, but they don't. And the number one thing that they want is an adult to pour into their life. And yeah, I mean, I'm still a young life leader, work with juniors at Cheyenne Mountain High School. And I know for a fact, even though they don't call me SCO, they call me Mr. SCO. I can't, they're like, how old are you? It doesn't matter. If you're in high school right now and you know of a teacher or an adult, go ahead and say, can I ask you a question? Initiate with them, even though it goes against every cell in your body, do it. Because there's nobody that wants your best more than your teachers and your counselors, people around South Salem.
That's perfect. And I think it's a great segue to our big three questions. And these ones are brought to us, as always, through support of the Saxon Success Fund. The Saxon Success Fund is a nonprofit organization for anyone who's listening for the first time that raises money to invest in our school, our students, and they do it through capital investment projects and college scholarships, all with the goal and the purpose to transform South High from one of the best high schools in the state to one of the best schools in the nation. And again, we thank our alumni and community supporters. So if any of our listeners would like to get involved, they can go to Saxon Success Fund. So Scott, we talked a little bit about it, but knowing where you are today, who you are today, all that you've got up to, what or who would you point to that helped you most?
I think I said a lot of their names, but I think I might point to Mrs. Horn, who was the typewriting teacher, word processing teacher, and Mr. Turman and Mr. Ball. I'll probably point to those three. But they all, again, it was as if I felt like I could do anything around them. And not just because they were like blowing smoke saying, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. I mean, Mr. Ball was the toughest teacher in the building. And he were the first one to come up to you and say, how he graded a paper. He didn't know it was yours, all the things. But he would be demanding on spelling and grammar and all the things. But, so Mr. Ball was tough. And everybody wanted somebody that's tough. And Mr. Turman was the ever optimist. Like, you got this, you could do this. And everything's possible with him. Everything's possible with him. And, Mrs. Horn and I are still friends to this day. We talk on social media and Christmas, and she got my kids when they were born gifts, and people are like, who's that? And by the way, Mrs. Robinson, she just sent a gift to help pay for some breakfast in Colorado. And so when I turned it into Young Life, they said, well, who is this? I said, it's just my 9th grade algebra teacher, no big deal. Most people don't know their teachers. To still be in relationship with your teachers at 60, 40, years ago, whatever, 44 years ago, that's crazy. These are people that didn't just care about, I want to get in my years for my PERS. No, they cared about kids, all 4 of those. And when you feel that, you're like, I want to do that. I want to care for people and help believe in people and be tough on people because they can do better.
If you could go back and give, that 16-year-old version of yourself advice, what would you tell young Eric Scofield?
A lot of kids walk around this building. I was one of them. And you think there's 1,000 eyes on you. And there's not. You just feel like there is. What am I wearing? What am I doing? How accepted? Am I not accepted? Now, granted, you that go to school today, you get to see things on social media I didn't even dream of, meaning what you're in on, what you're not in on. You're comparing yourself to people across. It's crazy, right? So you have it tougher. But I would still say the most important eyes are, what do you think about yourself? What does God think about you? By the way, he thinks you're amazing. He has your picture in his wallet. Okay, whether you know him or not, it doesn't matter. He loves you. So I just think that if you walk around, you're like, I don't care what everybody thinks. Who do I know that I am? And who do I want to be? And then pursue that like crazy. Don't get held up by the crowd.
It's one of my favorite things about this office and being able to work with students is the opportunity to provide them with authenticity.
Right.
And hold up a mirror and say, who are you? Who is your most authentic self?
Right.
And let's define that. That's going to get redefined all throughout your life. But in this moment, who are you and who do you want to be? What's that next version? And so, another great message for our students as well. Question 3 of our big 3 questions. If you could transform public education, South Salem is the version we're working with right now. But if you could take what you know from the Young Life lens, from being a parent, from being a student here, what would you add or adjust or transform about public education as you know it?
You know, I work now for a private family foundation, and we visit a lot of schools because we're building neighborhoods, and we're going to build a school, and so we're trying to decide what kind of school we want to build. And so we have a lot of observations, right? And the one observation is, and I ran into a teacher about a year ago at an airport. We were sitting waiting to get on the plane, and I don't know how I knew she was a teacher. Maybe I saw a book or something, but she was petrified. She told me, she goes, I don't know, I can do it anymore. Just because of, would she say something wrong? Would she do something wrong? So, I mean, the sad part, I mean, and I told you a couple stories about my teachers and how I was, really treated specially, right? But those special treatments in 1982, 83 today could get somebody in trouble. So my one, thing, which I don't think we can change, is I hope we're not missing out on people getting into education, because it's amazing to transform and shape and mold teenagers. Don't be so caught up in, what the tough parts about it, because it is tough.
Yeah.
But there are people who can kind of grind through those tough aspects, stay in there, stay focused on the goal, which is helping these kids see their potential, their reality. Who would have known, right? That Stephen Dorsey would be the president of Willamette University. Didn't know that. We didn't know that, but I know he had teachers that believed in him. And yes, he was really smart. I look up to you, Stephen, and your brother, twin brother, David, but I just think I'm sad that there are people that are not going into education because maybe it doesn't pay as much as another job, or they're scared. And to you students, as you go forward, we need dream makers. Be a teacher, be a coach. If my son called me, the one has his job, the other one's thinking about it. If he said, I'm going to be a teacher, I'd be like, let's go. Game on. I think it's a great job.
Did you ever think you'd be an author?
Absolutely. In one sense I did, in one sense I didn't. So the one sense I did, I'm 16 years old. I'm driving my mom. I must be 15 because she's in the car with me, right? So I got my permit. We're driving in our 69 VW Bug. And I say to her, I don't know why I said this. I said, I'm going to play college basketball. I'm going to be a speaker to thousands of people. I'm going to write a book. Well, about 10 years ago, I was like, wow, I speak to thousands of people. I played college basketball. I haven't written the book. So I started and stopped. I don't know how many times. And then finally, it's like, my mom's not going to be here forever. Yeah. So I got the book done. Is it perfect? It's not perfect. But just getting it done and saying, okay, built to fly. It's on Amazon. It's done. It feels great. Yeah.
Tell us about the book. What's it about? What do you want people, the readers, to experience?
I'll tell you just one story in the book because it's the cover. My dad, we grew up here in South Salem, and my dad built an airplane in our garage. Not many people have done that. Go ahead, let me know, readers and listeners. If you know anybody building an airplane in their garage, I'd like to know who they are. Nobody does that. My dad did it. All the kids in the neighborhood thought, he's crazy. It won't work. It won't fly. Never forget the day we brought it into the street. He started the engine, the propeller, and it was like, whoa. Police escort driving the plane to the airport. Biplane, open cockpit, think Snoopy and the Red Baron, leather helmet, goggles, the whole thing. You have to fly it 50 hours before anybody can come up in it. When my dad had about 30 hours on it, he crashed the airplane over by Leslie Junior High on Ewald Avenue between two houses. Long story that goes with that, but the next day the plane came home on a flatbed truck. Wings were ruined, plane, and as a third grader, I'm like, how's my dad going to respond? And that next morning, he starts rebuilding it. And he built it. He flew it. He got the 50 hours. I was the first one to go up with him, and it still flies today in Europe. So I just think there's a lot of people in life that have crashes. Parents got divorced. One of your parents is an alcoholic. You have a health crisis that's happened. Different things in your life. A girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with you. Whatever the situation. You flunked a class. You got caught cheating. Something happened that you crashed. And up rolls your life that next morning on a flatbed truck. What are you going to do? And I guess what I would tell you is you can always rebuild, and you were built to fly. You're not built to be in a crash site, not built to be on a flatbed truck. You're built to fly. And so no matter what has come your way, and I've seen a lot of kids with a lot of situations, and you're like, I don't know. And Kevin Parker was one. We sat at McDonald's with Kevin Parker. He was going over his GPA. He could not get into Whitworth. We wrote letters. We did all the things he got in. Look at what he's done with his life. He took a crash moment and he was built to fly. So the message, and there's all stories in there, but they're all the same story. You got this. You can do this. And my own personal belief is that there's a God who loves you, created you, and wants a relationship with you. And that's in there too. But, you know, if you don't like that, that's okay. Everybody's got their own, but you're built to fly.
That's on Amazon.
Yes, I am.
Google Built to Fly.
Yes, I think I'm the only built to fly title, but Eric Scofield, if that gets confusing. And there's a big picture of an airplane on the cover.
I love it. I love the picture too. And having known your dad a little bit and have flown a model plane with him. So,
Right.
yeah, just an incredible human, and we talk about impact as well. So yeah, Eric, we'll close with some rapid fire questions. And these ones are brought to us by another Saxon alumni.
We love these.
I know Dr. Corey Bickler, 2009 Saxon grad at Bickler Dentistry. Your experience is comfortable, it's personalized, it's stress-free. Whether you need a routine cleaning or advanced restorative treatment, the team at Bickler uses the latest technology to keep your smile healthy and confident. Discover compassionate care and exceptional results right here in South Salem at Bickler Dentistry. Owned and operated by that 2009 grad,
Love it.
Dr. Corey Bickler. So when you are in Salem, where is your favorite place to eat?
No question. Original Pancake House.
Yes.
You know, which
Such a
now
great
is Chopstick Brothers.
Yes.
Right. So, you know, again, the changing commercial street,
Right.
but I have nothing but amazing memories at Original Pancake House. New one, old one, doesn't matter.
What's your go-to there?
Well, my go-to has changed. Right now, I don't eat, you know, a lot of carbs.
Sure.
But if I was eating carbs, I would get the 49ers.
I was going to say,
cut
cut
right
the
in the
middle.
middle. I would, yeah. I mean, absolutely. With
Yep.
bacon,
Yep.
crisp, coffee.
Yep.
Love OPH.
Learned that one from Chris Hurd. Now I get to.
And I taught it to Chris. So you're my grandchild for sure.
Such a good spot. Favorite book? I put one in.
Yeah. You know, I think I would say Reese Howells, The Intercessor. So, you know, I like biographies and, you know, I mean, Unbroken, you know, Boys in the Boat, and I could go on and on. But Reese Howells, The Intercessor came to me at a time where it just had an impact. So that'd be my favorite book.
Check it out. Favorite golf course?
That's a tough one, but I'm going to go with, you know, right now, the Oregon State tournament is happening at Illinois. And one of the kids that I was a leader at plays for CSU, Colorado State. They're there. And I have fond memories of Illinois. I mean, it's a battle between Salem and Illinois, but Illinois I'm going to go with that. You know, we don't have guys in jeans running around the course. So Illinois, the leaves blowing across the course, a couple views of the Willamette. Love it.
Any other shout outs you want to give?
Oh my gosh. Shout outs. Well, you know, Dan Johnson, principal, Wes Ediger, my freshman year principal. Amazing people, Bob Cantwine, our basketball coach, Coach Chamberlain, Coach Storks, Coach Cross. I mean, again, for you that didn't grow up with Leslie connected to the building, that was pretty crazy. In fact, my first year as a freshman, I looked at my class schedule and said, oh, you know, room 106. So I marched right back to Leslie and walked into 106. I was like, oh, that was a mistake. 106 is on both sides. So, yeah, I mean, I just think, again, for you who go to South Salem, you are a part of a legacy. Just because you're a Saxon, you are special. And there's a lot of people in your corner that you can call up and say, you know, can you help me think about a job? Can you help me think about this? I mean, if you're a Saxon, I'm taking your call.
I love that. Last one for you. Any other graduates that we should spotlight in an interview?
Wow. Steve Valek. He's the varsity coach at Liberty High School in Issaquah, Washington. They've won a couple state championships. I was just with him on my way through an airport recently. At that point, they were 3-0. He's done some legendary things as a coach to build that program and that culture of everything we just talked about. He is the living essence of what I'm telling you. He has not given up on pouring into those 14 to 18, years are game changer years.
Well, thank you for being a game changer for us and for the legacy that you've left in Salem, in your life, South Salem, in my own life personally. So I can't thank you enough for that. I appreciate you jumping on with us today, fitting us in.
Hey,
I
I can't believe it.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah, bless you.
That's it for our conversation with Eric. Thanks so much if you stuck around this long, and thanks for tuning in. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Matt Cox at Saucetown Properties, Dr. Corey Bickler at Bickler Dentistry, and as always, the Saxon Success Fund. Thanks again. Have a great week. Go Saxons.